They told you that debt is a mistake, a temporary imbalance, a problem to fix. But what if I told you that debt is not an accident? It's the system itself, a system engineered across 3 centuries by 4 men who never met each other, yet built the same machine, a machine that makes entire nations borrow forever, a machine you are already inside, a machine you can never escape. This is not a conspiracy theory. It is the documented evolution of the modern global financial architecture, a structure where governments don't repay debt, they service it, where interest never stops, and where every crisis, every bailout, every tax increase feeds the same silent engine. Debt has become the foundation of the world economy. Before the 17th century, debt was simple. Kings borrowed from wealthy merchants. They paid back when they could. When they couldn't, they defaulted, and the system reset. Debt was temporary, limited, finite. Then, one moment changed everything. 1694, London, a war against France. The treasury empty, confidence broken, and one man arrived with a proposal that would rewrite global finance. Act 1. William Paterson and the Birth of Perpetual Debt, 1694. William Paterson proposed something England had never seen before. The government would borrow money it would never repay. Not the principal, only the interest, forever. In return, the lenders would create a new institution, the Bank of England. The bank would hold the gold. The government would issue bonds. The public would pay the interest through taxes. It was brilliant and irreversible. Debt became permanent. The idea spread. France, the Netherlands, America. Debt was no longer a temporary tool. It was the core of national finance. Act 2. Rothschild and the Web of Global Debt, 1815. By the 19th century, nations were borrowing endlessly. Then came Nathan Rothschild. He didn't just lend money. He created a global market for debt. Bonds were no longer local arrangements. They were traded across borders, banks, and empires, which meant if one nation defaulted, it wasn't just one creditor who lost. It was everyone. Default became unacceptable. Financial collapse became contagious. The world was now locked together. The trap tightened. Act 3. J.P. Morgan and the Birth of Infinite Money, 1913. Wall Street bankers met in secret on Jekyll Island. Their objective? Control the money supply, control the bond market, control the government's ability to borrow. The result was the Federal Reserve, a central bank that could create money, not from gold, not from production, but from government debt itself. The government prints bonds. The central bank buys them with new money. More debt equals more money equals more debt. The cycle became endless. Act 4. Paul Volcker and the Global Debt Prison, 1982. By the late 20th century, developing nations were drowning in loans. Then, interest rates were raised. Debts tripled overnight. Countries faced collapse. But default was not allowed. Instead, the IMF refinanced their loans under one condition: cut spending, sell state-owned assets, open markets to foreign control. Countries did not exit debt. They entered permanent dependency. The trap was now global. They call it aid. They call it development. They call it stability. But the truth is simple.
Debt does not build nations. Debt controls them. The more you owe, the less power you have. And the interest? It always flows upward, from workers to governments to institutions to the owners of capital.
They teach you in school, debt is necessary. Debt stimulates the economy. Debt supports growth. What they don't teach you is no major nation in the world has ever paid off its debt. Not once, not ever. Because if they did, the money supply itself would collapse. The economy would stop. The system would break. Debt is not the flaw. Debt is the fuel. Today, global debt is $315 trillion. The United States alone owes $38 trillion. Japan owes $9 trillion. Europe owes $14 trillion. But there is no creditor, no villain in a dark room. The world owes the world, yet the interest still flows. And who collects it? BlackRock, Vanguard, State Street, global financial asset managers controlling tens of trillions. They don't produce, they don't manufacture, they simply own the debt, and the world pays them rent every single year.
So what does this mean for you? You're living in a financial architecture designed not to end, but to continue forever. A system where everything you earn, everything you buy, everything you pay contributes to interest on a debt that can never be repaid. Because the system wasn't built for repayment. It was built for maintenance, for continuity, for control. The debt system isn't broken. It's working exactly as intended. If you're ready to see the world as it really is, if you want to understand who benefits and who pays, subscribe. The story is just beginning.